drink champagne. I'm totally vibing. It's true what they say. It's all about timing.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Unscripted. My name is Cecilia. If you're joining this channel for the very first time, I post vlogs here as well as fragrance reviews. So if that style of content is something that you like, please do join this family by subscribing. If you're already subscribed and you are or just returning, thank you so much for the continued support. Today I have 3 BeastMode fragrances to recommend to you. 3 2024 fragrance releases that are BeastMode that you maybe want to test or get your hands on if you love BeastMode fragrances. And then I have one honorable mention for the sake of those that may not like BeastMode fragrances but have a kind of a thing with a cherry note. So there is one fragrance that I got from my discovery set that I thought would drop here. So it's going to be 3 BeastMode fragrances and one that is not BeastMode. Now, number 1 is going to be Tuberos Astral. If you know the House of Maison Crivelli, you will know that he's the same guy that has Hibiscus, Mercajard. They also have Ombre Chromatique. And there is a thing with the Maison Crivelli fragrances, guys, that just give off that extrait kind of thing in them. Now, this is a Quentin Bish creation, Tuberos Astral. And it was one of those fragrances, guys, that this mini is going to take a long time for me to finish. So when I was testing it, I thought, no, let me just, drop it out there for people who love BeastMode fragrances. I'm not going to put this one on my skin. In fact, the 3 that I'm here to recommend, I'm not going to wear them because they're kind of pushy fragrances. Now, Tuberos Astral, okay, a Quentin Bish creation for the House of Maison Crivelli, is a tuberose meets leather creation. It has a spicy cinnamon roundup to it and wafts of an apricot coming from osmanthus, right? So there's going to be a fruity tone in this fragrance. It's going to be tuberose forward, but the tuberose has an unmistakable leather that it carries. So it is one of those complex mixes, and it does carry that Maison Crivelli DNA. By that I mean you're going to feel a rich, warm, spicy, woody fragrance with a depth, a lush type of fragrance, which is something that I get from Hibiscus, Mercajard, and from that Ombre Chromatique. And this is the 3rd one, that I have added to my collection. So it's not by coincidence that it's the 3rd fragrance from the same house, and it's giving me that extrait performance. So I thought to drop this one, guys, to recommend to you for those who like fragrances that are not joking. If you like your fragrances heady, complex, right? Heavyweight leather there meets the tuberose. So this is not just going to be your basic soft, rounded type of floral. It's going to be that floral but sitting on a heavy weight of the leather. So you've got to love the leather for you to appreciate this one. And it is a fragrance that I'm going to say also gives a little bit of everything. So 1 minute you're going to get that tuberose, and to an extent coming off as if it's milky, and just as you're about to enjoy that one, there is of course that strong leather that carries through to the end, and then a warm weight coming from that cinnamon, and then that fruity nuance bouncing off the osmanthus, kind of giving like a peachy, like an apricot kind of undertone. So it is a fragrance that has various facets, and for that I'm going to class this one, guys, as a unisex fragrance to an extent even leaning a little bit masculine there. And by that I'm not saying it is a masculine fragrance. All I'm saying is it does come across as a no-brainer, say for a man. And if you're a woman, you may want to test this one, but I did decide to drop it on this video as a recommendation, as a one fragrance that you might want to get your hands on, being a new release for the year 2024 that's going to be value for money in terms of a little of it going a long way. A couple of sprays are this. 1, 2, 3, 4 sprays will last even 3 washes on the clothes. It's atomic. So it's one of those fragrances that you may want to be mindful of the people around you if you're wearing this. But if it's like in a cold kind of climate, weather, that sort of thing, you can maybe go to town with it. But it's kind of pushy to an extent that it might actually start even doing the most to you, the wearer. So definitely a recommendation, guys, for BeastMode lovers there from the House of Maison Crivelli. This one is number 1, and it's Tuberos Astral. Another one that I came across, guys, is Amo Love Delight. Okay, so this is the little vial. It's a 2 ml vial. It's got the amouage, whatever. So yeah, it is the real thing. I'm not going to spray this one as well because this is another very pushy one. Pushy in the sense that Love Delight, guys, is going to, just from the nozzle there, come across as very, very sickly sweet. And almost immediately, just by smelling it there, it has a DNA that is not reminiscent of what the Amouage DNAs are kind of, aligned with, or the traditional Amouage DNA. This kind of strays, almost giving like a crowd pleasing kind of DNA there, but very heavy. The vanilla is so sticky, sweet, and it doesn't have caramel per se, but it comes off as bouncing off in like a caramel accent there. So do expect that spicy, woody, sweet vanilla. And I think there is a note of ram included in this one, guys. And the headiness in this fragrance, to give you a mental shortcut for those who want to know, is it kind of feels very similar to what I get from the headiness I get from Casablanca by Swiss Arabian. I'm not saying this is the same fragrance. This is an Amouage fragrance. It's not like borrowing from Casablanca, but if you have worn Casablanca, you'll know that that is an apologetic, heady type of fragrance that comes across as very sticky, very sweet there, patchouli, caramelly, gourmand type of fragrance. And that is what I get from this. This is the sort of fragrance that initially, the initial 3 or the first 3-4 hours can be bothersome. I've still got it on my arm there, and at some point I was thinking I might need to wash this off, but then I said no, I need to kind of feel how it transitions from one point to the other, because there is the inclusion of a zesty mandarin, like peel kind of feel, not really like in a light citrusy kind of citric presentation. It's going to feel like the zest of the actual orange itself, but it comes across as overdosed in its thickness because of that heavyweight vanilla that they went on to douse there. As you're enjoying that, there is that spicy ginger weight that comes into the mix, almost kind of wrapping this wafts of the orange, mandarin orange there, making sure that this becomes like a zesty but woody, spicy, toned fragrance. And then there is the cacao that adds into the mix there, making the weight of that sweetness even more polarizing. I think there is a boozy rum in the mix as well. So it is also another one that has got a lot of pages. But from this one, I'm going to say maybe test it first, before you pull the trigger. This is one fragrance that can be borderline pushy and can be borderline bothersome, right? So do not let that mandarin orange top there, sway you into thinking, oh, okay, it's going to be on the light side. It's not. It's mandarin orange, zesty mandarin orange, and then immediately we get into the warm spices there, a woody feel there, and then wafts of a jasmine. And the jasmine in this is very heady, indolic type of jasmine. It interprets in that bothersome kind of pushy feel where, if you overdo this kind of DNA, you might find yourself regretting and thinking, I think that's too much of a good thing. So yeah, if you like a spicy, boozy, rummy, very sweet, toothache sweet, vanilla scent with cacao accents, then Amo Love Delight, a 2024 release, is going to be one that is suited for you. It's going to be value for money in the sense that a little is going to go a long way. But of course, I will urge you to test this one first, because the price point for this one is not really pricing. So Amo Love Delight, guys, is the second one on this lineup. Number 3 is going to be a fragrance that's not new to you. I did bring a full review of my Tiri Premier's vanilla powder, and this is also a 2024 release. So why I am bringing it back is, if you are on the hunt for a vanilla and you are the sort of person that says there's no vanilla that is doing the most for me there on the market, or you say, I've tried a lot of vanillas and most of them just then seem to fizzle and I don't really enjoy them to the most, then try this vanilla. This is a beastly vanilla. This thing is also atomic. This little thing here is not the sort of vanilla that you want to spray like the Vanilla 28 by Keali, where you can go to town with it and all it does, it just amplifies, how you enjoy it. This is a vanilla that can borderline make you think twice as to why you actually did go, the whole 9 yards in terms of spraying it. It's a vanilla that is carrying a powdered coconut, and that coconut interprets as though it is on a bed of white sugar. It feels like icing sugar with a coconutty accord, but imagine that overdosed feel of that powdery white sugar with wafts of a coconut, and then douse a lot of vanilla in there, and then there you have it. You got yourself vanilla powder. So the name is very befitting there. Purchasing this is not going to be a regret if you love the vanilla fragrances, because you just need a little like a few sprays for this to make a statement. 1-2 sprays on my arm there had me having, pushing my arm at a distance there because it was just doing a little bit too much. It does have a woody tone to it, and it also has a faint greenness, just a very faint greenness there coming from the Palo Santo, but not enough for me to say this, leans green. It's just something that I thought to mention here in case some of you are going to get that greenness in this and then think, oh, how come you just spoke about the vanilla and the sugar and you did not, tell us that this thing is going to have a greener coat to it. So it does have a little bit of a greenness here, but what I get mostly is that sweetened vanilla feel of a fragrance, very heady there, lasting a couple of days as well. So that is the third recommendation, guys, of the fragrances that I thought to drop here as 2024 releases that you may want to look at in terms of maybe even purchasing them as testers, because they are worth the price in terms of how long they last on the skin as well as the clothes. Now, the last one, which isn't going to be an honorable mention, is going to be this Juliet Has a Gun Juliet. Now, this is going to be a fragrance that might underwhelm a lot of people because if you look at the notes listed and you're going by, let me just try and open it, and you're going by the fact that it lists cherry. Okay, so a lot of people are going to jump on this bandwagon because this one does list cherry as a note. This rather does not give you cherry in its true presentation. Reason why I decided to add it here is, of course, it is a 2024 release, so we got this one first half or before the first half of 2024, so a lot of people are going to be interested in knowing what differences, what differences are there between this and the previous offerings there. The thing is with this one, it's going to give you a light fruity, kind of watered cherry there, and interpreting as a little bit clean, very light weight fruitiness there. A fragrance that to my nose is lasting 5 hours pushing it. The cherry in here is not distinct. So I thought to just drop it here as a recommendation for those who love cherry but feel cherry can be pushy, because I did bring Vice Bomb here, and that is a cherry that can borderline be sickly sweet. This is a hidden cherry. This is a cherry that some of you are going to think, where is the cherry? In fact, you get that fruity top, very watered cherry, and then you get into the jasmine that's doing the most, making this a little bit up there on the florals, and then you get an ambroxan wrapping everything up, and then the juice in itself or the mix in itself interprets as a little bit synthetic, which can be bothersome to some. And again, that same cherry, maybe to bring it closer to home, interprets as though it's licoricey, that sort of thing, as though there is a star anise added to this fragrance, but doesn't list star anise. In fact, it lists tonka, and I do get the tonka there. It's just that the tonka comes at the same time as the jasmine, so it's just going to be dependent on your nose on whether you're extracting the jasmine or you're actually extracting the tonka. So there is a tonka-ish finish to this fragrance, but for some, the mix of that tonka jasmine and and the ambroxan, the woody ambroxan, is going to interpret as though it's like an anise, type of feel of a fragrance there, with like a anise kind of interprets like licorice there. So this is Juliet Has a Gun Juliet, right? Not beastly, but I thought to add it here for those who might be looking at it and thinking, what's up with that fragrance? The 2024 release, is it something that's worth my coins or what? This has a moderate lasting power. It does not project. It's not as loud as the other ones. It is just a fragrance I thought to drop here for the cherry lovers that love cherry but feel cherry can be a little bit pushy. And when I say pushy, I'm talking about the cherry you get in Vice Bomb. That's pushy. Yes, I can see some people detecting a cough syrupy tone in this, but it's not as prominent as, the way the cherry interprets in Lost Cherry, the cherry interprets in Love First Burning Cherry by Kelly. I thought it's a good enough recommendation to drop here for anybody who may be curious as to what's up with the new Juliet, and it's a 2024 release. So those are the 4 fragrance recommendations, guys, that I had for you today. 3 BeastMode and 1 that's just going to be best for floral fruity lovers. C Chronicles is my name. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section where we will obviously discuss more about fragrances. Let me know some of the 2024 releases that you've gotten your noses on, and let me know your thoughts, because it's interesting, to be able to see what 2024 has for us, especially the first quarter in terms of the fragrances that they have dropped on the market there. So if I can get myself more, I will definitely get myself more and bring them here to you and tell you my thoughts and that sort of thing. Remember to turn on post notifications, guys, on this channel as well as my other channel. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one. And meanwhile, stay safe, stay blessed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.